Tonight, breaking news, a U.S. official confirming to ABC News 700 Marines now on their way to Los Angeles. In the Northeast tonight, storms moving in, the severe storm threat all the way to the south, 50 million Americans. The small plane crash off the U.S. right into the ocean. The first tonight bracing in Los Angeles after clashes between police and anti-ICE protesters. President Trump tonight ordering those 700 Marines to assist the National Guard in L.A. Some protesters setting cars on fire, attacking police cruisers, police firing rubber bullets. A reporter delivering her report, then struck by an officer's rubber bullet. And tonight, what's now happened after President Trump, when asked about the idea of arresting California's Governor Gavin Newsom, answering it would be a great thing. Matt Gutman one-on-one with Border Czar Tom Homan tonight. Also tonight, the Northeast bracing for storms, severe weather, New York all the way down to Texas. More than 50 million Americans on alert. Ginger Z standing by with the forecast. That plane crash off the U.S. coast, all 6 on board feared dead. The pilot's final transmission crashing into the ocean off San Diego. And the other disaster, a skydiving plane going down with 21 people on board. The news coming in tonight in the hunt for that fugitive father, a veteran considered dangerous. Tonight, federal authorities now taking over the search after he allegedly took the lives of his 3 young daughters, where the feds are right now. Tonight, Martha Raddatz in Ukraine, just as Russia launches its largest attack since the start of the war. Nearly 500 drones and missiles. And President Zelensky telling Martha that 20,000 U.S. anti-drone missiles promised to Ukraine have now been sent to the Middle East. ABC News tonight asking the Pentagon. Back here in the U.S., a major court victory tonight for actress Blake Lively. Tonight, a federal judge throwing out actor Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation suit against her after she accused him of sexual harassment. The Harvey Weinstein jury deliberations tonight, and the eye-opening note right here. A 4-person notifying the judge, I need to talk to you about a situation that isn't very good. The remarkable rescue. Look at this. A pet zebra here in the U.S. airlifted to safety. And tonight here we celebrate the music of Sly Stone, remembering the singer, the leader of Sly and the Family Stone.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to start another week with all of you at home. We do begin tonight with Los Angeles bracing tonight after sweeping immigration raids sparked protests and clashes tonight. A U.S. official now confirming to ABC News 700 Marines are now on their way to Los Angeles to join California's National Guard, which was deployed by the president, not that state's governor. Late this afternoon, a peaceful protest after the arrest of a union leader, but the city is bracing for nightfall. It was a far different scene over the weekend. Protesters setting off fireworks right there, police officers right nearby. A line of self-driving vehicles set on fire. Crowds shutting down the 101 freeway downtown. LAPD officers trying to move them off. The moment a U.S.-based correspondent from Australia reporting on the protests, you can see there she's hit by an officer's rubber bullet. President Trump going over the governor's head, sending the state's National Guard to the scene, and tonight he's now sending hundreds of these U.S. Marines. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, leading us off tonight on the scene in Los Angeles. Matt is one-on-one with Border Czar Tom Homan tonight.
Tonight, 700 Marines are on their way to the streets of Los Angeles to assist the National Guard and law enforcement tamp down violent clashes with protesters angry over the Trump administration's immigration policies and arrests. Over the past 72 hours, pockets of LA descending into chaos. Protesters setting cars on fire, dumping bikes and scooters on police cruisers on the highway. Law enforcement firing hundreds of flashbangs and non-lethal projectiles and making dozens of arrests. It got so heated in the streets that a British photographer needed emergency surgery after being struck by a non-lethal projectile.
Moving them on through the...
And there was this moment. Watch as a correspondent for 9 News Australia
You just shut the
reporting on the protest when an officer hits her with a rubber pellet. And tonight, an escalating war of words between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. Newsom suing the president for creating the conditions for this chaos when he sidestepped California officials to deploy thousands of National Guard troops.
Are you going to deploy Marines in California?
We hope to have the support of Gavin, because Gavin's the big beneficiary as we straighten out his problems. I mean, his state is a mess.
Newsom then slammed by Trump and border czar Tom Homan for his response to the unrest. Homan initially suggesting the governor should be arrested, something Trump seemed to support just hours ago.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job.
Newsom responding again, calling that an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. I asked Homan about that.
If Gavin Newsom crosses whatever threshold it is and violates the law, do you have the authority to arrest him or Mayor Karen Raddatz?
If he broke the laws like any other U.S. citizen, we'll ask the Attorney General to investigate, and they'll prosecute. Tom Homan's not going to prosecute.
Spontaneous clashes began Friday as federal agents conducted multiple operations in and around Los Angeles. By Saturday, protests, mostly peaceful, grew larger when agents were seen staging in nearby Paramount, California. And by Sunday, a convoy of heavily armed and camouflaged troops arrived. We watched as the clashes intensified as the day progressed.
Just moments ago, there's some projectiles being thrown. Just moments ago, a motorcycle seemed to try to break through the police skirmish line. And now you can hear all those flashbangs going off. Police are trying to push those protesters back, firing those less than lethals at very close range. And you can see those projectiles being thrown over. Now that motorcyclist being hauled in here, looks like he's being arrested.
LAPD's chief overnight saying they may need more help.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
And thousands today gathering peacefully, calling for the release of a prominent union leader arrested Friday during one of those workplace raids.
A lot of us are American citizens. So then what are we working for? What is the American dream? It doesn't even exist when you're picking people out of the street.
David, just want to give you a sense of where we are. This is the federal building in downtown Los Angeles, and there are probably a couple hundred peaceful protesters here outside. You can see that line of federal agents and California National Guard. Right now, everything is peaceful, but on the other side, there are probably about 100 LAPD in riot gear. Now, Tom Homan telling me that he supports additional troops in downtown Los Angeles, but a short time ago, Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting that the presence of active duty Marines here in Los Angeles is un-American. David.
Matt Gutman leading us off on a Monday night. Matt, thank you. Next tonight, the Northeast bracing for storms, severe weather, really New York all the way down to Texas tonight. More than 50 million Americans are on alert. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. She's tracking it all again tonight for us. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. Severe thunderstorm warnings are on the map from Myrtle Beach up to western New York. The watches, they're from Pittsburgh down to Parkersburg, West Virginia, Gaylord, Michigan to Flint, Michigan. Now let's follow the cold front because we're going to time this all out, and you're not just going to see it in the Northeast. The cold front that stretches all the way to the Gulf Coast. We've actually got a watch that's over in eastern New Mexico, too. But that line just north and west of Mobile is going to track east pretty slowly, move through Georgia, parts of South Carolina through tonight. Then tomorrow, it will be a wet commute from Philadelphia up to New York City, at least in the morning hours. And for Boston, it starts in the afternoon, David.
Ginger, we'll see you first thing in the morning on GMA. Ginger, thank you. Now to the plane crash off the coast of San Diego. 6 on board, all feared dead tonight. And you will hear the pilot's final transmission before crashing into the ocean. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, 6 people are feared dead after a small plane crashed into the ocean Sunday near San Diego minutes after takeoff. Air traffic control audio seems to indicate the twin-engine Cessna struggled to maintain altitude almost immediately, and the pilot didn't know what was wrong.
4 Bravo Alpha, what seems to be the issue?
Just struggling right now. The president maintains steady.
The plane headed to Phoenix, dropping off radar.
4 Bravo Alpha, radar contact lost 6 southwest of San Diego Airport.
The Coast Guard says they found debris from the wreckage offshore, and preliminary data from the FAA shows every person on board died. It happened the same day this skydiving plane crashed southeast of Nashville, Tennessee. Our Faith Abube in Tullahoma.
And that plane crashing here just 1,000 feet short of the runway. A violent impact, but incredibly, everyone survived.
21 people were on board, first responders treating many of them at the scene, 6 people taken to the hospital. Tonight, the owner of the skydiving company says we are incredibly grateful for the quick actions of our pilot, whose response likely prevented a far more serious outcome.
David, it's unclear what caused either of these crashes. Both of them are under investigation. But back here in California, those 6 people missing are all believed to have died. David.
Trevor Ault reporting in tonight. Trevor, thank you. There is late news tonight in the hunt for that fugitive father, a veteran considered dangerous. Tonight, federal authorities have now taken over this search after he allegedly took the lives of his 3 young daughters. Where the feds are right now, and here's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, federal authorities taking over a massive search for Travis Decker, the father accused of killing his 3 young daughters in Washington state, scouring hundreds of square miles near the Canadian border.
My message is still the same. Travis, if you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in.
The governor mobilizing the National Guard to help the search in the famed Pacific Crest Trail. The 32-year-old former Army soldier seen here in recent doorbell footage is accused of killing his daughters during a daytime custody visit. The court had revoked permission for overnight stays. The bodies of 5-year-old Olivia, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 9-year-old Peyton found near a campsite a week ago. An autopsy revealing the cause of death was suffocation. A lawyer for the girl's mother says Decker was showing signs of PTSD.
I think that towards the end of the girls' lives, the last week or so, that just really spiraled. He felt really alone.
The community is struggling to make sense of it all.
How do you tell a 10-year-old who shouldn't be exposed to this reality that a father can do something like this?
And David, the governor of Washington, saying the brutal murder of these 3 girls has shocked the entire state. And tonight, urging residents in that search area to keep their windows and doors locked. David.
Kana Whitworth on this case again tonight. Kana, thank you. Overseas tonight, and our Martha Raddatz is in Ukraine just as Russia launches its largest attack on Ukraine since the start of the war, nearly 500 drones and missiles. Tonight here, her exclusive, President Zelensky telling Martha 20,000 U.S. anti-drone missiles promised to Ukraine have now been sent to the Middle East. ABC News asking the Pentagon about this. Martha is in Lviv.
Tonight, we have witnessed yet another brutal assault from Russia. Russia launching nearly 500 drones and missiles, the largest number of weapons fired during the entire 3-year war, sending residents into bomb shelters. Video circulating online showing a Russian cruise missile streaking over western Ukraine. At least a dozen people injured in these attacks, 1 killed.
There have already been 90,000 Ukrainians killed in this war, many of them from Dubno, where we are now. And this was a target of the massive attack last night.
Tonight, Ukraine's president in an exclusive interview telling me 20,000 anti-drone missiles promised by the Biden administration have instead now been sent to the Middle East by the Trump administration.
It was not expensive, but it's special technology. So we counted on these 20,000 missiles. My Minister of Defense told me that the United States moved it to the Middle East.
ABC News asked for a response from the Department of Defense. They declined to comment.
And David, President Zelensky stressing to me how vital those anti-drone systems are in helping to protect the population here from Russian attacks. But the Pentagon has told us nothing. David?
Martha Raddatz, who's been in Ukraine for the better part of a week now. Martha, thank you. Back here in the U.S. tonight, a major court victory for actress Blake Lively. A federal judge today throwing out actor Justin Baldoni's $400 million defamation suit against her after she accused him of sexual harassment. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, a big victory for actress Blake Lively, who's been locked in a bitter legal battle with her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. A federal judge today dismissed Baldoni's $400 million countersuit accusing Lively and her husband, the actor Ryan Reynolds, of defamation and extortion. The judge said Baldoni's case was invalid because Lively's initial claims of sexual harassment were legally protected, writing, even if they turn out to be unneeded, an employee can insist on protections at workplace for sexual harassment without being accused of extortion. It all started when Lively filed a complaint alleging Baldoni sexually harassed her and orchestrated a smear campaign after she complained about conditions on the set of the film.
Can we do a score? Can we do a score? A couple scores?
Within weeks, Baldoni countersued, his attorney releasing raw footage from the set of It Ends With Us.
I'm probably getting great fast. That smells good.
Lively's lawyers are calling the dismissal of Baldoni's suit a complete vindication. Lively posting online, "I'm more resolved than ever to continue to stand for every woman's right to have a voice in protecting themselves." Tonight, the judge is also dismissing Baldoni's $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times over its reporting on Lively's allegations.
So let's bring in Aaron Katursky back with us again tonight. That's one case you're following. And Aaron, another case you're following as well, this retrial of Harvey Weinstein. And there was word today, the jury foreperson notifying the judge, I need to talk to you about a situation that isn't very good. What have you learned?
After sending that note to the judge, he brought in the foreperson who told the judge that jurors were attacking one another and bringing up Harvey Weinstein's past. The judge brought all the jurors together, said they needed to be cordial and only discuss the evidence. So, David, they'll be back tomorrow for a fourth day of deliberations in Harvey Weinstein's sex crimes retrial. David.
Watching that case as well. Aaron, thank you. Late today, Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. removing all 17 members of the CDC's Independent Advisory Board for vaccines in this country. The board makes recommendations for vaccine schedules. They were set to meet on COVID-19 vaccines later this month. Tonight, Secretary Kennedy saying their removal is now a step toward restoring public trust in vaccines. When we come back on this busy news night, the deadly shooting on the Vegas Strip where 2 people have been killed. There's news on the suspect tonight. We also have a major egg recall, nearly 2 million eggs in 9 states. Remembering a musician you will remember, his music, the group from the 60s and 70s. And take a look at this tonight, the remarkable rescue right here in the U.S. This is a runaway pet, a pet zebra, being airlifted to safety tonight. We'll be right back. Tonight, there's been a deadly shooting on the Las Vegas Strip. 2 people were killed near the Bellagio fountain. Police say the suspect walked into a police station in Henderson, Nevada, and surrendered. Investigators say the victims and the suspect knew each other. The shooting allegedly was linked to a dispute on social media. Tonight here, a major recall for 1.7 million eggs because of possible salmonella contamination. Dozens of people have been sickened in 9 states, including Arizona, California, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, and others. The August Egg Company says brown, organic, and free-range eggs sold at multiple stores have sell-by dates from March 4th to June 4th. Eggs sold at Walmart have a sell-by date of June 19th. Customers should either throw them out or return them. We have more on our website. When we come back tonight, the news coming in here this evening on Rod Stewart and that remarkable sight here, that zebra airlifted to safety right here in the U.S. To the index, a runaway pet zebra was found in Rutherford County, Tennessee, and here's how they took him home. Ed the zebra was found in a pasture, and look at this, airlifted to safety. Missing for more than a week tonight, we're told he's now back with his owner, so he's not afraid of flying. Singer Rod Stewart tonight apologizing to his fans for canceling several shows while he recovers from the flu. We love his voice, rescheduling 6 concerts this month, including shows for his Vegas residency. He says he'll be back on stage soon. When we come back tonight, you know so many of his songs. Tonight we celebrate the leader of Sly and the family Stone. Finally tonight, here's Sly Stone and his unmistakable sound. It was 1968, Sly and the family Stone performing their hit Everyday People on The Ed Sullivan Show. And on the keys, Sly Stone, the mastermind behind it all, grooving his way to stardom. Sly Stone was a pioneer, considered eccentric and a genius performer, assembling a lineup of men and women, black and white, singing about love and unity at a time of deep division in this country, with hits including I Want to Take You Higher, and Family Affair. Sly and the family Stone would fuse soul, jazz, gospel, psychedelic rock to make a sound of their own in the 60s and 70s. His costumes and singular style making Stone an icon. A recent documentary about his life showed the influence for generations to come, opening doors for artists including Prince and Michael Jackson. Born Sylvester Stewart, Sly got his nickname after a classmate misspelled his name. He would be Sly forever. Learning to play guitar, bass, keyboards, drums, and the harmonica, recording music with his siblings by the age of 8. Sly Stone has died at the age of 82, and when he was asked about his legacy, he simply said, music, just music. I just want to play my songs. I would do it for nothing.
Words and the music are indicative of the life that I live. So it's the truth. So, and you can't really get around the people when they hear the truth.
Well, his music certainly helped define the times, and of course, we remember him right here tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.